Hey, soldiers, you are not going to believe what this ingrate Sam Bankman Fried is up to now. It looking more and more like from the start, this whole scheme that he perpetrated was organized from the beginning to put him in a position where he profited, win or lose. Now, what am I talking about? Well, he has recently met and has been meeting for the past 6 months, actually, with Michael Lewis. Michael Lewis is the author of The Big Short. Now, if you've seen The Big Short, it's the movie that is about the, lead up to the Great Recession and mortgage crisis of 2007, 2008, that whole thing. Goes into credit default swaps and what happened in a very entertaining way. Got some really big stars in the movie like Christian Bale. That always helps. You're trying to tell a complex story. Have some star power there. But it looks like Sam Bankman Fried is determined to make lemonade rather, from the lemons that he currently is dealing with. Now, there are two things standing in the way from this despicable human being being able to do that. Number one, if he receives a substantial amount of time in prison, it doesn't matter how much money he's allowed to make from the proceeds of a movie. They're only going to allow you to put so much in a commissary account, so you're only going to be able to buy a limited amount of ramen noodles, wham whams, zoom zooms, and Newports, okay? And hopefully this guy will get a substantial amount of time, because at this point, he's looking more and more like he and his mother and father, they are the quintessential examples of people who feel as though they're above the law. They, you can't touch them. They got to figure out a way to profit from the loss of others in some way, shape, or form. Sam Bankman Fried met with Big Short writer Michael Lewis during house arrest. Disgraced FTX boss Sam Bankman Fried already appears to be turning his crypto saga into a blockbuster with the help of a top writer who penned the Hollywood hit The Big Short. Currently holed up at his parents' home at Stanford University after being released on $250 million bail last week, following being slapped with federal charges of financial fraud and money laundering. Don't forget campaign finance laws as well. He's been hit with charges associated with that. And I think where that piece of it is coming from, you got a lot of pissed off politicians that are in a position now where they're being asked tough questions and about their relationship with FTX and Sam Bankman Fried and having to give money back. They don't like that. So he's been hit with campaign finance law violations as well. Now this guy is on house arrest, got the ankle bracelet on, and here comes Michael Lewis up the driveway to meet with him. What are they talking about? They're talking about a book and a movie. They want this guy's story to be immortalized. I don't think it's going to be that interesting. The Big Short was interesting because it was about something more than just some snot-nosed punk stealing everybody's money. All right. That story has been told 1,000 times, right? We're going to look at some dweeb with a computer, okay, and a futon in his office. Who are you going to cast to play these roles? All right. Because FTX, these people weren't, approaching glitterati, if you know what I mean, right? Anyway, sources exclusively told the New York Post, Tuesday, Moneyball writer Lewis spent several hours inside the residence just hours after Bankman Fried had landed Friday, presumably talking about the latest twist in his crypto downfall, which has seen him go from a 30-year-old billionaire to facing up to 115 years in prison in a matter of weeks. And I hope he gets 114 years and 11 months, okay? Because he doesn't seem too concerned about the people that he's harmed, the people whose trust that he betrayed. Bankman Fried's collaboration with Lewis is said to have been ongoing for around 6 months, long before financial irregularities were spotted. But it was first reported after FTX's collapse in November, when entertainment newsletter The Ankler, isn't that ironic? The Ankler, now he's got an ankle bracelet, leaked a note from Lewis's publishing agency pitching the book to potential movie rights buyers. Now, some people are saying that Michael Lewis should be investigated because if he was with them for 6 months, he should have known about what was going on and blown the whistle. I don't know about that. And the reason I say that is because I know this guy writes about different financial issues, but can he be considered the type of expert that would be able to spot this? And look, there are a long list of people that should be held responsible before this author, Michael Lewis. Let's first start with Maxine Waters and her Financial Services Committee, who were warned repeatedly that something didn't smell right. All right. So let's not forget about them. They're actually supposed to be looking out for the investing public. Meanwhile, Michael Lewis is an author. Okay. He writes books and movies. Maxine Waters, I have the gavel and I'm going to use it, reclaiming my time. Okay. She is the one that is supposed to be in the position of responsibility for the investing public here in America. Hinting at the MIT whiz kids' alleged squandering of investors' billions, Lewis's reps touted Bankman Fried's story as, quote, more than sufficient for a signature Michael Lewis book, unquote. Bankman Fried's parents are both law professors at Stanford University. We've gone over that time and time again, and sources say they have hosted several gatherings since the beginning of their ankle-monitored son's home arrest. So they're in it too. They're trying to figure out, look, Sam, you know, we're going to have a lot of legal fees here. And you said that you were down to your last $100,000. That's like 2 days worth of billable hours for these attorneys that we have. So we got to figure out a way. You know, we're going to spend all of our retirement money on this. We got to turn this around. This has got to be seen as some sort of investment. We got to make some lemonade here out of these lemons. Now, his parents have upped security, paying for private armed guards and cameras to be installed. The house is also being watched by campus security from Stanford, who have blocked off the road it sits on from traffic. Where are they getting all this money from? I want to get into that in a second. Officials also announced Tuesday the case will now be presided over by U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan. A judge since 1994, Kaplan replaces colleague Ronnie Abrams, who recused herself last week after learning that her husband's law firm advised FTX in 2021. Now, look, 2021 was not that long ago, okay? It is now 2022. You mean to tell me when this got assigned to Ronnie Abrams' docket, her and her husband didn't say, oh, you know what? Remember last year, I did that thing for FTX. It's the biggest news story, financial news story of the year. And this didn't come up, and she didn't kind of discuss this with him to say, hey, look, it's not going to be right and proper for me to preside over this because just a few months ago, you were retained by them. Oh, yeah, you're right. No pillow talk? They didn't mention this at the dinner table? Okay, right. Look. A lot of money is being spent on this guy. High-powered lawyers, security at the house, new cameras. Where the money coming from? U.S. Department of Justice probing $372 million FTX exploit. According to a December 27th Bloomberg report, the United States Department of Justice has launched an investigation into the whereabouts of approximately $372 million in missing digital assets from now defunct cryptocurrency exchange FTX and FTX US. On November 12th, amid its bankruptcy and internal collapse, FTX warned customers of abnormal wallet activity regarding at least 228,523 Ether transferred out of the exchange from an unknown perpetrator. Now, if this happened before the collapse, sounds like, maybe somebody at the company knew that the house of cards was falling and said, let me preempt this. And oh, guys, beware. There's somebody, we don't know who, but there's somebody out there pilfering Ether, and it's worth a lot of money. So we just want to let you guys know. Okay. Abnormal wallet activity. And you're supposed to be at that time either the number one or the number two crypto exchange, and you didn't have better security than this. On November 11th, the day of the company's bankruptcy filing, FTX US General Counsel Ryan Miller confirmed that transactions were unauthorized and that the subsidiary exchange had moved all crypto to cold wallets as a precaution. On November 20th, blockchain forensics firm Elliptic wrote that the unauthorized transfers amounted to $477 million, and the unknown perpetrator swapped the Ether for REN BTC before being bridged to Bitcoin. Though the REN bridge through the REN bridge service, REN was acquired by FTX linked hedge fund Alameda Research in 2021 and has been alleged by Elliptic to launder hundreds of millions of dollars in crypto. Now, what did Sam Bankman Fried have to say about this? Well, he said that the incident was perpetrated by either a former FTX employee or someone who had unauthorized access to a former employee's computer. I've narrowed it down to like 8 people. Maybe he was looking in one of those funhouse mirrors where he was reflected 7 times, allegedly. I don't know which one it was, he said in an interview with citizen journalist Tiffany Fong. So look, I don't know, man. Speculation there. I don't know if he took the money or not, but mighty interesting, right? Especially considering the fact that the parents are rolling like, hey, nothing's wrong here. Not only are we still, picking them up and putting them down in terms of being able to pay for this legal defense, you think they're not sitting in the living room with, Lewis and saying, hey, the mom might say, I want to be portrayed in the movie by Meryl Streep. I want Meryl Streep to play me. And the dad, I don't know, he might be saying, I want Ed Harris to play me. They'll get Jonah Hill to play Sam Bankman Fried. That's a definite. Wherever this guy Jonah Hill is right now, he doesn't even have to read for the part. He knows he's got it. All right, so as far as Caroline Ellison, this girl Kate McCucci, she is not an unattractive woman. However, they did this thing with her in an episode of Netflix's Cabinet of Curiosities, where they worked some Hollywood magic on her and made her absolutely uncomfortably repulsive. All right. So they can do that kind of magic because, look, let's be honest. Hollywood is not in the business of hiring a lot of ugly people. Steve Buscemi, he's made quite the career at it, deservedly so. The man's a fine actor, very funny as well. But I suppose Steve Buscemi would probably be the first one to tell you, hey, man, I'm not going to win any sexiest man alive contest anytime soon. Hollywood is not in the business of having a lot of ugly people running around, not in terms of their physical attributes. They are certainly ugly in many, many other ways. Now, if you want to find just ugly through and through, to the bone, you got to go to DC. That's where, ugly people really hang out in every way, shape, or form. It is the Hollywood of ugly people. But check it out. Will Sam Bankman Fried ever see a dime from any of the proceeds of books, movies, talk show appearances by people associated? Will he ever see a dime? Probably not, because the federal government, most of the states actually also, have what are called Son of Sam laws. These laws came out of that whole David Berkowitz, the 44 caliber killer back in the Son of Sam incident back in New York. I believe this was in the 70s or 80s. In any event, these laws were designed to prevent convicted felons from profiting off of the crimes that they had been convicted of. So you go out, you commit a crime, and then you write a book about it and you make money? No. Now, I will say this also. Several of those laws have been challenged on First Amendment grounds. Now, here's my thinking. And again, guys, I'm no lawyer. My legal kind of viewpoint, I tend to go toward a commonsensical type of viewpoint, but the law is anything but common sense. It's very complex. But hey, we're not going to interdict your right to free speech. Write whatever book you want. Collaborate with any director you want, but don't expect to get paid from that. The proceeds should go to the people, especially in Sam Bankman Fried's case. The proceeds should go to the people that he harmed. And after that, there's money still coming in. Hey, send it to a victims relief fund. Don't let this guy get any money off of this. All right, guys, this young lady certainly cannot be accused of being physically unattractive at all. Cardi B, she just made a shocking statement about her finances. It's one that we all need to learn from. What is going on with Cardi B's finances, and why does she think she could lose it all? Watch the video and find out, guys. I'll talk to you soon.